Over with time, looking for Terrell Owens, underthrew him, picked off by Cromartie. Out to the 21-yard line.
Ticket, I just had to go and get it, yeah. Ticket, I've been grinding for a digit, yeah. Ticket, I just had to go and get it, yeah. Ticket, I've been grinding for a digit, yeah. Mix it, I've been all up in the kitchen, yeah. Mix it on the stove, I'm with the skillet, yeah. Mix it,
All right, guys, welcome to another edition of Texans Unfiltered. I'm really excited about this episode. I'm putting together an article. We are blessed to be joined by Antonio Cromartie, one of the best corners to play in the league. I don't think that's unfair. I would assume you would agree with that statement.
I like to think that.
Yeah, I mean, you might as well.
I like to think that.
Yeah. I mean, you were the Chargers, the Jets. You had a great career, not only in the secondary, but special teams. That field goal return for 109 yards. I mean, you've just been you're a celebrated player. So thank you for coming on the show, man. Really appreciate it.
Nah, man, no problem, man. I like football.
Yeah, it's always fun to do. So I wanted to check on you and your family, see how you guys are doing. I know coronavirus and COVID-19 is just nuts. Everybody's safe in your family. Everybody's good. That's really important.
Man, everybody's good, man. We're just enjoying this little time. It's family time. Just being around each other a lot more and just enjoying it, man. The biggest thing is it's forcing families to spend time together and have dinner time together. So, something that a lot of families don't get to have. So this is like something that's important to us, and hopefully everyone else gets to see that how important it is for them to be around their kids during this time.
Yeah, I consider it a gift and a curse because
I got 6 kids in my house right now. So
yeah.
I have a 15-year-old, a 10-year-old, an 8-year-old. We have 3-year-old twins and a 2-year-old.
Man, whew.
So yeah.
Well,
so you can only imagine how that is.
The 2-year-old is probably fine with quarantine. The other ones are just dying to get out.
Yeah, they ready to go back to school. Even our 3-year-old twins, just they get up every morning like, "Are we going to school today?" Like, nah, school is at home. We homeschool now.
Yep. So just a quick update. Since you retired, what have you been up to? Kind of what's life for Antonio Cromartie right now?
What I'm doing now, right? Honestly, I'm training high school kids. I got a couple college kids, and I got a couple NFL guys that I'll be training this off season. So we just got back into it this week, and it's been great, man. It's giving me something to do because I really want to get into the coaching part of it and the aspect of it, and not only that, but I can be able to pass the knowledge down of playing a position to those that's trying to play it now.
No, that's awesome. Is there any thoughts of like broadcasting or anything like that? I mean, you're natural with speaking, you have a following, or is it really it's coaching? That's your passion, passing it down. That's where you want to go.
No, man, coaching is my passion. I love it. I mean, it's crazy. I've been doing this since I was in high school, really, making sure guys are doing what they're supposed to do. And, what I'm saying, we're trying to teach each other and do things like that. So, but broadcasting, man, you just love to do. When you can talk about something that you love, man, it just comes up naturally. And you're able to break down things in a way that the audience can be able to understand exactly what you're talking about. Because sometimes they may not know. And when you can break it down to that and break it down to where they can understand everything that's going on in a football game, it makes it a whole lot easier for them and they can enjoy the game better.
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. One of the things that, I'm starting to venture out into is making this a full-time job because it's something if I could talk football for the rest of my life and get paid for it, it's the most ideal situation. I love this.
My point exactly. It's an ideal situation where you're doing something that you love, so it's not a job.
Exactly. So you did a great piece with my buddy Zach Hicks over at on the Colts side of things. Zach is probably one of the more knowledgeable guys that's covering the team. People just don't realize it. He's so good. So I thought we'd talk a little bit about the Texans secondary. kind of your thoughts on the players, and just go from there. So I've been extremely high on Bradley Roby. I was super excited that we brought him back this season. What do you know about Bradley Roby as a corner, and what is it that you like about his game and don't like about his game, and want to see him improve on?
I think I like Roby. I like them. The spirit is the way that he plays the game. The biggest thing was, as Houston Texans, they needed something in the secondary. They needed somebody that could come in and contribute as soon as possible, whether it be through trade, whether it be through free agency, whatever it may be. And they got Roby. I felt like he was doing great during that time with him. Who was that? Who was there? Akeem Talib and Chris Harris. When they had that dynamic trio there, I felt like he did the things that was asked of him. He did those, and that's the only thing he can't really do. The things that I don't like is I don't think he plays the ball very well. I think he panics at times when the ball's down the field on the deep ball. But I felt like at times when he's pressed or he's playing zone, he knows how to read certain things to make a play on the ball, to actually give the team a chance to make a play.
Yeah, I think one of my favorite characteristics of Bradley Roby, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on this, is he's always in their back pocket. So I think it's an extremely valuable asset to have as a player, specifically in the cornerback position, to be right there and tackle the receiver right at the reception, not giving up any yak yards, being able to bring him down and end the play there. He's extremely good at that. Can you talk about how important that is and what impact that makes on the team?
Well, it's no yak. That's the biggest thing. You don't want to give up any yak. You want to have a bang bang play. I think that's when you're looking at it. The receiver can be there, DB can be there, to make a play on the ball or make a tackle without giving up any yards. I think you got to think if it's 3rd and 7 and they get 6, you can get off the field on 3rd down. He's a sure tackler. That's one of the things I like about him also, that he's going to come up, he's going to make the tackle in the run game and also in the passing game. But at the end of the day, as a defensive back, it ain't about just making tackles. It ain't about just a guy catching the ball in front of you making the tackle. It's about us making plays also. Something that secondary really, really needs on the back end. That's why they brought him in and bring him back this upcoming year. So it's just the point of being consistent on a week-to-week basis. But being a guy that can be a sure tackler is always a plus, no matter where you are.
Yeah. Okay. Good. All right. So Gareon Conley, drafted by the Raiders. He was a top 10 pick coming out of Ohio State. Rookie year, played extremely well when in man. John Gruden comes in. They switch the scheme. He plays a lot of zone, plays off a lot. Struggled in that scheme. Bill O'Brien trades for Gareon Conley last year in Week 7, right before we play the Raiders. He comes in. We play strictly man. He thrives in the system. And watching his film, and I know one of my guys is doing an article on him specifically, but once I recapped his season and looked at what he's able to do, I see a potential cornerback 1 based on his play style, how he plays, his coverage skills, and he thrived last year. Can you talk about Gareon Conley a little bit and what you've liked about him and what you see and how he's going to play this season specifically?
Definitely. When you're looking at Conley, I think the biggest thing you look at, he's a nice size corner, got long arms, can move very well, can play man to man very well, and that was his biggest attributes coming out of college when he was at Ohio State. He plays man very, very well, can play the ball, shows the athleticism when the ball's in the air. But at the end of the day, the biggest thing for us as corners, we got to play zone in, man. You're not going to play man the whole entire game. If you can't read routes, you can't read route combinations, and you don't know how to backpedal, it's hard for you. And when you see corners now that's coming into the NFL, none of them don't know how to backpedal. Not one corner in the NFL the last 3 or 4 years that's came in knows how to backpedal. Everyone wants to turn their hips and just run with the guy rather than play the scheme and understand what they're doing. So I think that's the one negative thing I got on Conley is the being able to play zone and read the route combinations. Because route combinations are they give them to you. Everybody run the same thing. They just run them from a different look, from a motion tool, whatever it may be. So it's just a point of just making sure that for him, as his weakness, that's something that he has to work on during this time. That's the most important time now with everything that's going on with COVID-19, is to being able to draw your stuff mentally, to watch film, to understand route combination, to understand what offenses are trying to do to you, from a standpoint of how they gonna get the ball over your head or how they gonna try to complete passes on you when they put you in that zone. Because man, that's easy. You just covering a man, you can go up and press and you go do that. But when you have to sit back on 3rd and 12 and you have to read route combinations because you're playing a zone technique, how is that gonna benefit you and your team?
Yeah. So interesting nugget that you brought up there as far as being able to play zone and not being just a one man or one type of corner with playing man. It was since he struggled in zone in Oakland. We mix in coverages, so he's played zone a little bit in our scheme and on this team. Can you talk a little bit about the difference between, coaching on one team and coaching on another? I know, terminology, but you see lots of times in the league that a player will struggle with a particular team in coaching, and then once they're traded, things start to click a little bit, and they start to understand those, what they were asked of prior. Can you talk about what that looks like and what Conley would need to do to be able to better understand zone?
Well, I think it's just the way it's taught. Man, it's just like teaching. It's just like teaching math half of the time. But you got to break it down to just simple mathematics. Understanding what you got to do. Like for me, if I have Conley, the biggest thing I'm gonna tell him, look, if I have two receivers to my side, read number 2. If we read number 2 tells you every single route that you're gonna get. If 2 goes to the flat, you're only gonna get a curl or a slant. That's just basics one-on-one. If number 2 comes up 5 and breaks out, you're getting a dig over the top of him. You know what I'm saying? Or he sits down at 5, you get a jerk route. You know what I'm saying? By number 2, you're gonna get a dig over the top. You know what I'm saying? It's just simple things that he has to understand. Like when I got 2 receivers to my side, if I'm to the X receiver and I'm alone to my side, the running back goes away. It's more than likely it's gonna be a one-man route to that side, which be one-on-one. Even though we're in zone, but if I got 4 strong and he in the backside receivers by himself, more than likely gonna throw backside. It just gives you an illusion of things that's going on. So it's just trying to understand different things in the way he's being taught, and is he actually sitting down himself and watching film to see what offense is given to you, because everything is the same, even if they motion to it. It's not how it starts, it's how it's ends. They can line 3 by 1 and go to 2 by 2 and still give you slant flat or curl flat. Just by getting it to him from a motion. And understanding that when the motion comes, the motion is more so the primary receiver or it's the primary side. So now that you can eliminate a lot more routes, and then you can get more comfortable with what the hell is going on from a zone standpoint, because you're broken down every single route combination that it could be, whether it was motion to or lined in.
So one of the things that I really took away from that was, and this is, I think, really interesting, is the fact that a lot of it is more on the player than just the teaching and coaching that they're receiving. They're going to have to, if they really want to perfect their game, they really want to get better at it, they can't just rely on the coaching to teach them. They're really going to have to dive in and put in the work ethic to understand what these schemes and coverages look like for them to thrive.
100%. Look, it's not college. You don't have school. You don't have tutoring. You don't have none of that. You have nothing but football. That's it. So if you're not using your time wisely to watch film, maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours, even though I already just watched film at work, at the facilities, I still got to go home and I still got to put myself in a predicament for I can win on every single down. And if you're not taking the time, you're not doing yourself no justice. You're not doing your team no justice if you're not trying to break down film and study the way that you're supposed to.
Interesting. Okay. Thank you. So Lonnie Johnson coming out of Kentucky, 6'2", long arms. Loved what he had in the toolkit. Knew he was a raw prospect. Definitely needed to work on his footwork and his hips. They were very tight at times. What did you like about Lonnie coming out of Kentucky, and what did you see from him last year that you think he can build on?
Man, I thought Lonnie did great. I mean, I actually knew the coaching staff that was actually with him over there at Kentucky. So being able to actually watch him and be in contact with certain guys over there and hearing about him throughout his college career, it's actually pretty cool. Honestly, I don't think that he really has tight hips. I just think when you look at him, he never really had to backpedal to flip his hips. I don't see him having tight hips. He showed that he can get in and out of his breaks and flip his hips. I don't really think he has slow feet. It's just a point of understanding your technique. I think you have to be technique sound in this game. And some people may say, "Oh, your feet are too slow." Well, his feet too slow. You should have moved him to safety. Don't put him at corner. His footwork to me was fine. I just thought that he got himself in trouble at times because us being 6'2", we want to stand up on everything. We're not playing low enough. So he gets himself in trouble by when he pops up and has to sink back down when he should already been low. So that's the things that more so gets him in trouble than his footwork and his hips. It's just him trying to adjust the plan at a lower level and being able to stay at that level even when I'm coming in and out my breaks. So I saw some flashes last year. And I'm hoping to see a little more from him. Just for him having an extra year under his belt and actually being able to understand the system a lot more.
Yeah, he's put in a lot of work in the offseason with Rashad, the footwork king, working on his foot technique and opening up his hips. And obviously, from year 1 to year 2 is just completely different. You're looking to build off of what you did and add to your development and work on the areas you need to work on. Can you talk a little bit about what working like that in the offseason looks like and how it can translate to year 2?
I mean, for me, this just being me. I ain't working with somebody that's never played my position. That's just me. Every guy that I've worked with either worked in the NFL as a strength and conditioning, so they understood everything. They either work with the DBs, and that's all they've worked with. But I'm not working with somebody that's never put the blood, sweat, and tears in this position. They can't teach me and mold me into anything that I need to be better at. You know what I'm saying? That's just me. And I don't care who dislikes it, whoever trainer, I really don't care. Guys may look at me differently, but like at the end of the day, I know the game. I understand the game. I can teach the game and understand what we're supposed to do from route combinations to getting in and out of breaks, understanding what we're supposed to do from a technique and a mental standpoint. You can't teach somebody the game if you ain't never played it or you never studied it. Because there's coaches that's never played the game, but they understand the game from an X's and O's standpoint. And the biggest thing about all season is working on your weaknesses. It's working on getting in and out your breaks, understanding what I can do. And going through cone drills ain't gonna help that. You have to go through live demo action where you're getting one-on-one reps. You're putting yourself in worse predicaments now than you would do during the season. You know what I'm saying? So it's putting myself where I know where I might be in a panic mode and understand that, I got to hurry up and flip my hips and get my eyes to the receiver hands so I can make the play on his hands because I'm in a bad position already. Or I may take a bad step. The receiver's already got me about 2 yards, so I got to close to the upfield shoulder to try to make a play on the ball if he runs his dig or he runs his comeback or wherever it may be. So it's little things like that that you want to put yourself in. Like I'm always preaching, put yourself in a worse predicament now so it makes it easier when it comes to game time. You're not thinking about it because you're already reacting to it. Football is about reaction drills. It's all about reaction. You react off somebody else. So if I'm Lonnie, if I have a problem with, some people say his hips. If I'm 6'2", guess what I'm doing? Dropping my hips on everything that I do. So I'm gonna have somebody coming down. I'm gonna run 5 yards. I'm gonna break down the route. It's just getting in and out of breaks. That's the biggest thing. That's what we have to understand. That's what we have to do.
Okay. No, that's great insight. It's interesting because when you look at working out with the trainer and then not working out, not taking actual reps against another receiver, I've always wondered how that translates, because if you're doing those things, like how can you know when to break? How can you know, if you're not actually in the situation, how are you going to be able to read that?
How you gonna be able to react?
Right.
I can't react to cones.
Right.
I can't react to stationary movement. There's somebody just standing there and then they just point me to where I need to go. I need actual movement. I need people to move me around. I need people to make sure I'm dropping my hips, making sure my eyes are in the right place, and teaching me eye discipline, teaching me hand techniques, teaching me footworks and different techniques to get myself in and out of trouble. Helping me keep my hips square, not flipping my hips, because it's not about me flipping my hips. It's about me trying to stay as square as possible and playing basketball in front of a guy and cutting them off. It's just so many different things that some people, these so-called expert trainers and everyone else, claim that they know that they don't know. Um, and when you're teaching guys at a level, are you teaching them, or are you just doing it for namesake and basically taking money? And all season is about teaching you, learning from your mistakes, breaking down the film, and being able to correct your mistakes that you made during the season. So when you go back during the camp, you're not making those same mistakes. So they can see a growth in you from year 1 to year 2. That's what it's about. I want a big jump from year 1 to year 2, because my mental aspect of the game is a lot sharper. And I'm able to react more so now than to just go out there and just go play football.
Okay. Yeah. Wow. That's good stuff. Okay. All right. So Vernon Hargreaves, he was cut by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers last year. We brought him in midseason. A lot was made. First round pick. Really, his first year or two was fine, and then BA came in. Looks like things happened that maybe were out of his control, maybe not. That's between Vernon and BA, but he came in midseason. He definitely struggled with us in the slot last year. He wasn't very good in the slot, but he did come in mid-season, so maybe that plays a part, getting adjusted. I know we're going to talk about that more in depth in a little bit, but they cut him and brought him back because they declined his 5th-year option. He's still young. Can he adjust and adapt and evolve as a player to become that star corner that we need? Or what does it look like for Vernon to be able to take those next steps?
Man, I like Burn, man. Even though he went to UL, I'm a Florida State kid. I like him, man. I thought that he showed flashes of what he's able to do. I think it's more so the consistency part of it when you're looking at him. He has to be more consistent. Yeah, he came into halfway in through the season, which sometimes as a nickelback is hard, because you have so many jobs as a nickelback, from your blitzing to playing linebacker to now you got to cover. Now there's a possibility that you could be playing safety. Now there's a possibility if your guy motion outside, now you have to sit here and go outside and play corner. So there's so many jobs and so many things that he has to try to think about, that maybe like during that time his play wasn't as great because he wasn't playing mentally fast because it wasn't there yet. Man, the kid showed flashes even when he was in Tampa that he's a guy that can play at a high level in the nickel position. And I just think once he get comfortable, once he gets into the groove of what he has to do, I think you will see, that first, second year guy that played a hell of a year when he was at Tampa his first 2 years.
Yeah, it's funny. I interviewed David Johnson last week, and I talked to him about the feeling of being wanted as a player and how that can impact a person. If you feel
Yeah.
you're not wanted, it's really hard to be motivated. That's something internally you have to figure out to be able to go out on the field and still play at a high level. And in Tampa, you can tell that he wasn't wanted. So I guess now with him being
But we gotta think about this. It's a business. No matter whether we feel in your job only, that's all they're asking you to do, whether they want you or not. It doesn't. It shouldn't matter if they want you. Hey, you're getting paid for it, so go out and go do what you're supposed to do. You're gonna have coaches that don't like you, that what I'm saying, that feels like they may know more than you, and sometimes they don't. But you have to let that go and let that go by how it is, because at the end of it, it's a business. No matter if somebody likes you, nobody dislike you, you're not gonna like your boss and whoever you work for. So you still gonna go perform the way you're supposed to do at any other job. So why do it? Why not do it because somebody don't want you at this level? Sorry about that, man. My car had got stolen, so I had to take care of some stuff.
oh my God, your car got stolen? Jeez,
Last Friday, yeah.
that's crazy. Whew. Well, you got it back
Yeah,
though?
so where I have my stuff. Yeah. We're good.
Oh wow.
We're good. Yeah.
Was it the Lambo or?
No, hell no. No, hell no.
I was gonna say that's a really good car thief if
Listen,
you get the Lambo.
listen. I would have still been on the hunt. You don't even be on the phone with me. I would be still looking for my car. I'll still be looking for it.
That's funny. All right, so I think we were left off with like wanted and things of that, and I was gonna
Yeah.
talk about like there's certain coaches in this league though that seem, and maybe even specifically in Houston, that emotionally, and we've seen it time over time with Bill O'Brien. No matter how you perform, no matter what you do, no matter how you practice, you're not able to get out. You're in that doghouse. And, I wonder, one, have you ever experienced that? And then two, I don't think you have, but maybe you know guys that have. But and then two, what can you do at that point?
One, I don't feel like I've ever been in that predicament. And honestly, I don't know if I know too many guys that's been in that predicament, dealing with coaches, because a lot of their coaches have just been, straight up honest, straight up honest with us, or they just didn't shoot the shit. They just told you how it was. Honestly, the only thing I would tell anybody to do is is to do you at the end of the day. Like, that's all you can do. Your only thing I can do is be me, no matter how somebody else wants me to be. Only thing I can do is be me. I can't be somebody else. I don't want to be a robot. I don't want to be somebody that's fake. You have to be you no matter what. And I think that
All good.
I don't know what happened.
I'm
I
a,
don't know what happened just then.
I'm not.
But
Yeah, go ahead.
the whole thing with DeAndre Hopkins, I think he just continued to be himself. He wasn't going to change who he was or try to fit to the form of what somebody else wanted him to be, because what was him was what got him there in the first place. You know what I'm saying? And that their system is, and that's not you. And like you say, no matter what you do, how great you may play, what you do in practice, whatever it may do, they're still not gonna like you. They're still gonna feel like you're not fit for the scene, even though you're the top 3 receivers in the NFL. And it just happens, man. And I'm honestly, when you look at the whole entire thing and how it played out, it could be a better situation for DeAndre Hopkins. I mean, when you look at the whole entire thing, man, you're talking about, you got rid of a guy without getting a first round draft pick. Matter of fact, you got rid of 2 guys and never got a first round draft pick. that's from DeAndre Hopkins, and that was from I forgot the kid's name. I was in Seattle, outside linebacker, Gareon Conley. So when you look at those situations, you had guys that was still playing that's young, playing at the top of their level, top of their skill set, and you got rid of them because they didn't fit the mold of what you was looking for. And that happens, man. But you can't do nothing about it. They're gonna dislike you. They're not gonna like the way you talk. They're not gonna like the way whatever it may be. But it's a business. I'm gonna take care of myself, and I'm gonna keep it pushing, no matter what's going on.
Okay, so there's a ton to unpack, and I honestly didn't expect to go down the DeAndre Hopkins path, but I think with DeAndre, I think there's a lot of moving pieces that people are talking about and aren't. I think one, I do think he wanted more money, and I don't blame him because he had no more guaranteed money on 3 years left on his deal. He signed his deal, 3 years ago. I think it's like $13 million a year. He's nowhere near paid the top of what a wide receiver should be paid.
No.
Can you fault him for it? Hell no.
No.
You can't.
Hell no.
You can't.
He's outplayed that contract.
Right.
He's outplayed it.
You can't. And for the people that say, well, he shouldn't have signed the contract. Well, okay. But if you're getting guaranteed money, please tell me why you wouldn't sign the contract. So those people
My point exactly.
So that's them. So let the idiots talk and let Undisputed and do all that. They can do all that. But then when you look at how Hopkins played last year, and I'm not saying he's on a downturn. I don't think that. I think it's how they utilized him. He played, I think it was 57% in the slot. So he wasn't going to thrive because he's not a slot wide receiver. He's the guy that gets open in space and is able to, you just put the ball in his area, he's coming down with it. So we weren't using his skill set. And he probably didn't like that. I think Bill O'Brien also wanted to get faster on offense, and I think that's why DeAndre Hopkins is not a speed guy. So I think the vision of the offense, I think it's an accumulation of all those things. I don't think Bill O'Brien hated DeAndre Hopkins. I think he appreciated DeAndre Hopkins. I just think that it didn't fit. And if it doesn't fit, you have to find a way. Now, the return, that's another conversation. That's awful.
Well, I can't say that it doesn't fit because how would it not fit when it's been fitting for the last 2 years?
Well, let me ask you.
3 years.
So with
I think when you look at it, he's the primary guy, right? You say you want to get faster, but all your fast guys are always hurt. That's not DeAndre Hopkins' fault. So we can't sit here and say that something didn't fit when it was actually working pretty well when your quarterback and your receiver are on the exact same page every single time. So was it really them not clicking, or was it just really something else that could be hidden we don't know about? You know what I'm saying? Because we're not in the office. We're not there every day. We're not in those meetings and doing certain things and being around that stuff. So we don't really know. Only thing we do is assume that something was going on. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I say, no matter what it is, we don't know. He may have disliked DeAndre. Him had it out. They could have been whatever. But at the end of the day, I'm not getting rid of my top 3 receiver, even if he does ask for more money. Okay, well, let's see. Let's work on something during the season when the season starts up this upcoming year. Let's see how the first half of the season goes. You're the GM and you're the head coach. You could have easily said that.
Yeah.
And as a player, you got to respect that because if he says he's going to come back, well, we'll see if he comes back. If he's not, look, just trade me. Trade me at the deadline or something like that. But we can't sit here and say his numbers were down because they used him in the slot, because he was used in the slot a lot the year before too. And it's not the only year that he was used in the slot.
So to clarify, when I say didn't fit, I don't mean I don't believe that he fit the offense. I think that Bill O'Brien felt he didn't fit maybe where he wanted to take the offense. I agree with you 100%. I agree with you 100%.
Yes.
You can have all the speed receivers, but if they don't play, it really doesn't matter. So then what? So let's say Brandon Cooks and Will Fuller goes down. Well, now you have Kenny Stills and Randall Cobb. Good luck. Not that Kenny is bad, because I actually think Kenny is underappreciated in the league. That's just me, though. But yeah, so when I say he didn't fit, I I think he's the best wide receiver in the
I
league.
just think I believe that also too, and I think he's shown me the last. It's him and Julio. I'm just that's what it's shown, but it's just there's more to it that we don't know. That's why I can't really speak on much on it. I can just talk about what I've seen through the processes of dealing with coaches, like Bill O'Brien to North Turner to Ron Rivera to different kind of coaches. If sometimes you don't fit that mold of what they're looking for and how they want you to interact, it doesn't fit them. You can be one of the greatest players on earth, and if it doesn't fit their mold, they're going to get rid of you no matter how great you are.
I agree. So, all right, enough with the DeAndre Hopkins. What are your thoughts on Deshaun Watson? Before we get back into the cornerback position, I think Deshaun Watson is, I think, because of Pat Mahomes and what he did last year, I think everything is being overshadowed and what Deshaun is actually capable of being in this league. I don't think people realize how good Deshaun Watson actually is. What are your thoughts on Deshaun?
I love him, man. I hated him when he beat my Florida State Seminoles, but I like the kid, man. I think the kid has everything that you look for. He just has that winning attitude, man, that go-getting attitude, and that there speaks for itself. When a guy, only thing he wants to do is go out and go win the game, he's going to sacrifice his body. He's going to throw himself around to get where he needs to be. It just shows you the tenacity and the understanding of what it means to win. I mean, you got to think, man, the kid's been winning, man, since college, since he's never really had this kind of stuff that was going on where he's losing this or losing that. The kid just went out and won. And I mean, he has some mentality. It reminds me of old Steve Young, of younger Steve Young. Going out on the football field and doing what he's supposed to do, and sacrificing his body for the betterment of the team. You don't want your quarterback to do that. It's your franchise quarterback, but the kid just wants to win, and he just wants to show his teammates that he's willing to do anything and everything to make sure that they do win.
Yeah, no, I don't think Texans fans would like the hope of the Texans, in my opinion, because Deshaun Watson is here. I feel like everybody should feel their hope. At the end of the day, with him staying on the team and him, being here for the next 10 years, there's always a chance that we're going to win.
100%.
Interesting.
Great, but we got to protect him.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, they did a better job.
No. I mean, they're doing a lot better. But you got to protect them. You got to get the right guys around and protect them, and he has to get rid of the ball just a little bit quicker.
I agree, which is great.
Even though I know he wants to extend the plays and make sure he can get the plays down the field, but he has to get rid of the ball quicker and make his decisions a lot more quicker. And I'm going to take this kid anyway just because of his upside and what he can do.
Yeah, no, I think coming out of college, his release was the quickest out of all the quarterbacks in the draft that year. I think Bill O'Brien needs to do a better job scheming and showing that, making it easier for him to go through his reads and things of that nature. It's going to be interesting to watch without DeAndre Hopkins because that was his go-to. So he's either going to take the next step, which I'm expecting, or we might find ourselves in a different position as a team. But all right, last cornerback position question before we let you go because I know you're busy today. So last year, the Texans secondary I thought played really well. I thought that given the circumstances, I thought they played well, but the lack of a pass rush was evident throughout the entire season. Can you talk about why that is so important for the cornerback position? Because I don't think people really understand why those two go hand in hand.
But I think people need to understand how much pass rush and coverage go hand in hand. Like I always say, the year that I had 10 interceptions, I would have never did it without having Sean Merriman, Sean Phillips, Jamal Williams, Luis Castillo, Jock Cesaire, Stephen Cooper, having those guys, Tim Dobbins and all those guys, my front seven. I would have never had that if we didn't have the pass rush we did. I say that all the time. I didn't do not. Only thing I did was catch the ball. That's all I had to do. And I always had a time clock on my head because I knew either lights or SP was going to get back there within that 2.5-second time clock. So for me, it was just, okay, I had a time clock. I can get off. I can be on my pedal 1001 and 1002. I'm breaking on the ball. So the ball was coming out so quick that sometimes the receiver wasn't even prepared for the ball. Because we was getting back there so quickly. It's just a point of just like, man, it's like what's the swimming called? Everyone's in sync or whatever it's called, synchronized swimming.
Synchronized swimming, yeah.
Pass rush, pass rush and coverage goes just like that. It's hand in hand. It's like if we don't have a great pass rush, but we cover every single route. Now we're able to get to the quarterback. That's a cover set. So it goes hand in hand. Everything has to work in one accord. Everything does.
Awesome. Yep, I've been preaching that for the last 3 years, and people just don't seem to understand that. Like those two have to. They have to work.
They have to coexist together. It's all schemed that way. The front seven and the back end all have to work together because everybody have their job and their jobs to do. If we can get to the pass rush and create tips and overthrows and all that stuff, that helps us out. That helps on the back end because now every overthrown ball, the safety's there to go pick it off, or the corner's there to go get it because he's over the top of the route. Or every tip ball, linebacker may get a tip ball, a tip interception. DBs getting tips on slants because the ball got tipped at the front of the line by the defensive lineman. It's just so much stuff that goes into it, man. It's just like everything has to be in sync. Everything has to be one accord on that defense side of the ball for things to go right.
Yep. No, I agree 100%. It's something I've been telling people for a long time, and they just don't seem to get it. They think that even if you had 5 Darrell Reeveses, that they would. I'm like, no, that's not how it works.
It won't happen. It won't happen. Trust me. Ask Reeves knows about not having a pass rush, and we've still got balls caught on over us. So it's not a point of just saying you can have a Darrell Reeves out there. You have to work, and everything has to be in one accord where we get that pass rush, we get that pressure on the quarterback to make him make ill-advised throws or get off his off his step, where to the point of he can't step into his throws. He's throwing off the back foot. Now we're creating turnovers.
Yep. All right, last question, because I don't want to go over film with you while you're driving. So you talk to a lot of players in the league still. You have friends all around. What do the players say about the Texans organization, and what do they say about Bill O'Brien specifically?
Most stuff I get is hearing what the hell he's doing as a GM. I get that a lot. Just talking to certain guys. He really doesn't know what he's doing as a GM because when you look at it, how do you not get 2 first-round draft picks for the guys that you just let go? How don't you get what they're worth from that standpoint? Or even just say, hey, why from a standpoint of getting future draft picks, big-time draft picks in the next year's draft or whatever it may be for these guys, why that hasn't happened. And that's why I say it's all about the mold. When a guy doesn't fit a mold, you'll get rid of the guy. But other than that, man, I feel like some guys say he's cool, he's good. He understands what he wants to do offensively. He just got to pull the trigger sometimes.
Okay.
But as a GM, I don't think too many guys like him as a GM.
But do you think the players respect him as a coach?
I think you have some guys that respect him as a coach, but I think too many guys think that he's trying to make what's name into New England, and that's not it. He's trying to turn Houston into New England, and that's not what the Texans are all about. So I get that a lot. it's a different era from that New England era to what he had in New England during that time.
Yeah. Awesome. All right,
So
Antonio, I'm gonna let you get back to your day.
appreciate it, man.
I can't thank you enough, bro. I really do appreciate it. I appreciate your insight. This was a very enlightening for me, learning the position a little bit better. It's one of my favorite positions to cover and break down. So hearing it from
Oh man, appreciate it.
Yeah, I really appreciate that, and we'll definitely be in touch again. I'll reach out, and again, thank you.
All right, man, appreciate it. Appreciate for having me on. It was fun. I wish I had better damn connection. I wasn't going anywhere.
That's okay. I can edit it and do all that. Maybe I can send you the plays, and you can just kind of tell me what you saw.
Yeah, I 100%. Just send it to me, and I'll give you a whole video of everything.
Okay, awesome, Antonio. Well, again, I really appreciate it, man.
No, I appreciate you.
Ticket, I just had to go and get it, yeah.